Welcome to the Kaizen Crypto Podcast, your weekly dose of market insights, alpha narratives, and everything crypto. I'm Dan, your guide to navigating the ever-evolving crypto landscape. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kaileb, the master of market deep dives, and Bill, the analyst breaking down the trends you can't afford to ignore. So sit back, stay sharp, and let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back. So we have a great agenda for you today. We're going to talk about the new Bitcoin all-time high. We're going to talk about MicroStrategies. We're going to talk about XRP's new stablecoin, RLUSDD, and also the NFT hype around Pudgy Penguin's Airdrop, PENGU. Let's get to it, guys. All right. So Bitcoin hit another new all-time high today. It rallied past 108,000, which is a 50% increase since the November election. It's a huge boost by a lot of things going on in institutional markets, MicroStrategy getting involved, just conversations across all the markets. And then, Trump's pro-crypto stance just kind of driving it. I think this is a lot of huge momentum. It's great to see. Bill, what's kind of your perspective on this recent high that we just saw after last week's, series of flushes?
Okay, well, the definition of an all-time high in Bitcoin is going to change, right? We're counting it Watcher Guru style, 105, 106, 107. I have a feeling we're going to start measuring these things in $10,000 increments. No one's listening to Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is a tough guy. He's a hedge fund legend. He's a genius. He's a thought leader. But he keeps going on the media trying to be a spokesperson for Bitcoin, and the media just continues to question him. Isn't your stock a Ponzi scheme? Then he has to come up with some sort of thoughtful counter, which, he used Manhattan real estate. The more you buy, you build, and then you borrow and build again. That's kind of what he's doing with Bitcoin. So it seems like everyone wants to doubt Michael Saylor. It seems like you can get a lot of attention for being short MicroStrategy. Honestly, that's not the type of things you see at the top. That's the type of thing you see before this accelerates. Anything accelerates and gets away from you, right? Like everyone has 200,000 for next year. What about 140 right now? So yes, you can say you're not bullish enough. That may not be correct. You may not be long enough, or you may not be prepared for a short rip that's more dramatic than anyone thinks. So, the incremental new all-time highs for Bitcoin at 108, now that there's no interesting even number, I even hear institutions aren't as interested in the options market. So it's interesting, right? The higher it goes, all anybody wants to talk about is selling and going on vacation. To me, that's a recipe for a crypto volcano. We'll see.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've been hearing in the market is, the flushes that we saw last week were heavily influenced by the heavy amount of leverage being used to buy Bitcoin through perps versus buying in spot, because you had the delta between perp and spot price. And a lot of those flushes, were kind of healthy flushes to, create, reality check for those that are sitting in high leverage, playing Bitcoin long. Because, if you're a spot trader, you can kind of deal with these corrections. If they see the high perp leverage trading, it's easy, you're kind of put a target on your back. So I think you flushed a lot of that out. I think we may go up a little bit slower because it may be moving back to more of a spot proportion of building up the Bitcoin value. Do you guys think it'll be more of a step up ladder over the next few weeks before Trump's inauguration, and then post inauguration, it's going to go and push that 140? Or do you think maybe we'll see that before the inauguration and there's not going to be some Fed pivot kind of doing a larger correction before we see the Trump, is in the White House rally?
I mean, I definitely think we will see that step ladder type of action, because if you go look at an Arkham open interest dashboard for Bitcoin, for example, you will see that people have huge buy orders set at these $10,000 increments. Starting at 100K, there was $3 billion in open interest, which means people had limit orders to go long at 100K, $3 billion worth of trades there. So these flushes are just saying, like, like you were saying, Dan, if you have all of this open interest there, you put a target on your back, people are going to say, thank you very much. They're going to flush you down. They're going to take all of that liquidity and then move it back up. And a lot of these orders have been sitting there for months already. So like, it's literally, if you go look at these dashboards, buy orders at 100K, 110, 120, just people going long. So I think we're going to see that step ladder. We're going to reach those prices, and then there's going to be a little bit of a flush to take that liquidity that's been sitting there for free for months, and then it's going to move up, and it's going to flush and move up and flush, which, I mean, is healthy price action. You can go look at all of these bull trends over the last 3 cycles and see that it is a slow but sure move up over time, which is healthy for the asset. So I think we're going to continue to see that for quite a bit here.
I mean, when you look at the Fed, right, the Fed's going to have to admit that the payroll numbers were fake by simply doing a 25 basis point cut and getting out of town for Christmas as fast as possible, right? They just want to cut and go. Sorry about the fake job numbers that cause us to strangle the economy with 5% rates. So as soon as they get done doing that, because people are, I can't even believe people are worried about it. But they are. And then crypto historically it's classic. Like every Western holiday, there was all kinds of volatility around Thanksgiving. People thought it was going to go to zero, and it turned around and went up massively. So you're going to have epic volatility around Christmas in a thin market. And I don't know, all Trump has to do is wear an orange tie or an orange anything, and it's going to gap. That, because I think you're not going to have the liquidity during Christmas. Like, you're not going to have the liquidity in the ETF. These over-the-counter dealers want to go on vacation. Yeah, watch out, man. Like, stair step, jockeying, tax loss selling is probably going on in some altcoins. Dude, if you sleep on this thing, you could get caught. Now, is it stair step most of the time? Yeah. But they wait you out, and then they just take it up. And the combination of, like, what's going to happen when you finally discover that Trump and Michael Saylor are on the phone with each other? Like, what happens? So, food for thought in a thin holiday market.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree with that. So, kind of going back to what you were talking about earlier, MicroStrategy's essential, their Bitcoin holdings, their strategy, what their goal is. They had another purchase, and now their Bitcoin holdings is over 46 billion, much more than their smaller amount of revenue in the millions for their BI products. So if you look at MicroStrategy, you don't think BI products, you think it's their Bitcoin assets. And, the even bigger news for them is on the 23rd. So this Monday, before market opens, they're opening in the Nasdaq-100, which is huge. You're seeing a company that is what it is because of its Bitcoin holdings entering the Nasdaq-100. And I think that's huge. And I think that's great for crypto, but it definitely shows that he knows what he's doing. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to probably start doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this is really just a marketing strategy of, please stop buying Power BI and Tableau and just buy my product. It may or may not work, but look, we're one of the biggest companies in the world.
Well, I mean, he's got to use that software talent to develop on Bitcoin. I mean, that part's disappointing. I know the stock is a little bit detached from reality, because it's the only way for certain companies or certain entities to be able to participate in Bitcoin. Like, if you're in Europe and your insurance company, the only way to participate in Bitcoin right now is to buy MicroStrategy or a miner. Now, if he was smart, which I think he is, which is why he was talking to Microsoft, he's probably trying to put some sort of deal together. He doesn't want MicroStrategy. He doesn't want Microsoft to buy Bitcoin. He wants Microsoft to buy MicroStrategy. And then I also think that, like, if they let this NASDAQ announcement go, the stock probably will go down and the bid will switch into Bitcoin or the Bitcoin ETF. But he would be nuts to immediately go from thinking about, he's in the Nasdaq-100. Now what's he got to do? He's got to get in the S&P 500. And how does he do that? Well, he's going to need earnings. He can't be just a hedge fund and get in S&P 500. He's going to need businesses. And I think he's going to start taking people over. Right? Because that's got to be his ultimate game. Can you imagine the headlines with MicroStrategy getting in the S&P 500? And every mutual fund on the planet has to buy it?
Right.
Forget about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so many things you can do when you don't have a product that's fueling your growth. So.
Right.
Yeah. And then you're creating that exposure, because even if you don't want to buy microsystems, or MicroStrategies, sorry, it's in S&P or Nasdaq-100, you're getting it somewhere through an index or mutual fund or whatever. And it's just creating like more exposure, indirectly. So I agree with everything you guys have said. And also going back to the Trump subject, World Liberty Financial, it's been making some altcoin moves. It has expanded its crypto portfolio and it's added Ondo, Aave, Link, ENA. So definitely expanding, Ondo, RWA, Aave, DeFi, just expanding in what's in its portfolio. It's now up to 85 million in crypto assets. They also have Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin, known as BTC. So I think what the big thing now is trying to see what are they going to do? Are they just building up and becoming this giant, hedge fund with crypto, or are they going to be creating, a full on DeFi platform to compete with people? I mean, Aave is a DeFi platform, but something of that nature. What do you guys think is the play here? And do you think it's just going to keep growing?
I don't think they want to do anything complicated. I don't think they want to become Aave. I think they want to use Aave as a way of demonstrating that they're crypto savvy. I think they want to do something really simple. They want to take deposits and get people a yield through DeFi, through Aave. And then they just want to own the top cryptos. So they want to run it like a plain vanilla hedge fund, or like an investment bank, rather, excuse me, right? Deposit money with us, we'll give you yield. And then, you can track our investments and maybe we'll publish research, or maybe we'll just buy stuff, and that'll be our way of telling you what Wall Street's eventually going to do. It's like MicroStrategy for ETH DeFi. It's also a way of validating that, people still think the orange man is kidding about all this stuff. Like, this project got laughed at. People, they were laughing until they bought Chainlink, and Chainlink went up 30%. That's when it stopped being a joke. Right. And if they get capital or a bigger position, I know they have token unlocks, but I don't know, man. Why would you sell the Orange Man's DeFi project? I mean, I guess if you needed to pay bills, obviously. They're like a signaling mechanism.
Yep. I agree. And it's very habitual in crypto, especially for people on the retail side, to sleep on things like this and kind of judge them out the gates. And then the people that kind of understand the value and the mission and do invest in these things, it ends up being a lucrative investment because, they do know what they're doing. It's just they're dealing with a lot of FUD from people that just are, anti-Trump, or they don't think, someone like him should be behind a project like this.
I think that's probably a big one thing that people aren't seeing with the project as well is it's still unclear of what exactly they're trying to do or what it is, what it's for. Because I mean, if you spend any time on the website, the only thing you can do is buy WILFI, that token. And I mean, that's it. That's all you can do is you buy the token and then you enter a pool. Like, they're still in a money raising phase. And if you explore the site a little bit more, it seems like they have a DAO. It's more of a DAO. Well, I mean, it's not a DAO because it's very centralized, but they're propping up like, hey, submit proposals. Those proposals will go to a review. You can help shape DeFi's future by investing in this token, kind of thing. So it's like, what are they actually trying to accomplish at the end of the day? Do you want to be a DAO? Do you want to be a DeFi protocol where people are earning yield by investing in your platform? It's just very unclear, and I think there can be a lot of FUD around that if you don't have clarity. I haven't read their white paper myself. I think it's called the gold paper, actually, over there, to see exactly what's going on. But just exploring the website, it makes it clear to me that there's a lot that needs to be done in order for this to have legitimacy as a real project in the space, rather than a board of KOLs looking for you to invest in their token.
Yep. It's a good point.
That's totally fair. Right. It's ceremonial right now. And the tokenomics and the value of the token, that's a whole other issue, right? That said, I know it doesn't have the greatest tokenomics, but it's funny how we can be critical about tokenomics with this, yet, Fartcoin is at $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
That's a great point.
But I get it. I was like, oh, well, yeah, tokenomics on this are terrible. I'm like, okay, you're right. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But what else are we buying? Like, Fartcoin is worth more than silver miners as a group, junior silver miners. Fart and Goat together are bigger than all junior silver miners combined. So yeah, but I get it. It's probably not at the top of your buy list.
Yeah.
It's a signaling device.
Yeah, Dan and I were talking about this earlier, of how we based this was a slightly different topic, but slightly related. Of where people are wondering, like, oh, when these coins have topped, or people are saying certain coins have topped, or oh, I'm not going to invest in that. The market cap's too high. It's not going to go anywhere. But you see tokens like Fartcoin and Goat that are at these crazy high valuations, and it's only $1 billion, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin in the last 3 months has moved up 100%, which means over $1 trillion has entered Bitcoin. $1 trillion. And yet you don't think that your $1 billion coin can do another 3x? The logic is just very flawed in that regard.
Virtual is an example, right?
Yeah.
So's XRP. If you can add market cap to NVIDIA in $250 billion increments, what else can we do? we can do it in crypto. No one thinks this. I don't know why. It's because people are too busy either trying to get a 10x in 5 minutes, or they're just trying to jeet in and out of everything because that's what the market is like trains you to do. But market cap expansion, and back to World Liberty, just as a kind of a joke, like, you don't know why you should buy it. And by the time, if they ever came up with a reason why you should buy it, you wouldn't be able to buy it because it would be gone. I'm just saying. The Orange Man, his candidacy was the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, that guy's not going to make it. It's going to be close. I bought into that. Not true.
No.
Stay on your toes, people.
Yeah, I think you keep hinting at the next subject. Next subject is XRP. PENGU dropped today, but even probably more importantly, obviously, if you're on crypto Twitter or YouTube, you're probably not going to see it. But they launched a new stablecoin today, RLUSD. So it's going to be Ripple's stablecoin. And I think the thought is like, so Trump gets elected. Obviously, he's not in the White House yet, but he's elected. Writings on the wall that he's going to be stepping into that house. And Ripple just took off. We're, I think 2.25. We're around that range right now. And, is this going to continue the euphoria and keep that momentum going, or even build up more momentum? Because they're pushing out their plans, like the things that they've been trying to build up to in creating utility. And now they have the stable coin, that they could utilize in their plan with what they want to do. Bill, I know you cover XRP a lot. You're definitely, if I have a question around it, you're always the one I'm going to go to. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, look at the name. Like Ripple has spent so much time trying to distance itself from XRP that the name of the stablecoin is RLUSD. I'm like, what is RLUSD? Shouldn't it be like, I don't know, XRPC or something like that? Shouldn't it be tied? Shouldn't they be leveraging the XRP brand? Well, of course they're not leveraging the XRP brand because they're embarrassed and short XRP. They're bearish their own token, which, this has happened with investment banks. They get bearish their own industry, their own company, their earnings prospects. The market does nothing but go up. That's up only. That's point number one. Point number two is, it's made in America crypto, right? And the fact that they probably named it Ripple, sarcasm aside, probably makes it more palatable to banks to use as a payment system. Ripple has already got relationships with all these banks. That's what they did during the SEC years. So they have the business development, they have banking relationships, they have relationships with sovereigns. And then, I don't know, all it takes is for the realization that there's two things going on. One, there's a currency devaluation. They're devaluing the dollar. And the reason it doesn't feel like it is because they're not doing it. It's not one sovereign winning and one sovereign losing, or it's not everyone flocking to gold and making it look like the end of the world. It's fun. It's a Pudgy Penguins dollar devaluation, right? It's a party, but it's still a dollar devaluation. And then there's the other idea about QE, right? In other words, how long do you think it's going to take before the strategic Bitcoin reserve has more than one crypto asset in it? And XRP is a prime candidate. So when you think about how long the XRP people have suffered, right? I mean, they suffered for 6 years. YouTube pulled them in, trapped them. They had to watch Solana 10x. The pain must be incredible. And now everyone's like, oh yeah, the rally's over in 40 days. Oh, no way, man. These guys have been built. These guys have been building like Pudgy Penguins. They built for 6 years. Now, not on XRP, but Ripple's going to IPO. They're going to IPO and then they're going to buy XRP back. And some bank, you have to think like BlackRock says, okay, BlackRock says we're going to do this. And then they keep making announcement after announcement after announcement. I can make fun of Ripple, but they've undoubtedly working on making announcement after announcement after announcement, right? They must be sleeping in the office. So the stablecoin is the beginning. It's the beginning. And everyone's trying to tell me that it's over because it's at $2. Yeah, that was the old routine. That's not Brad Garlinghouse and the Made in America crypto guys at the White House. I mean, did you see Trump trying to Shark Tank the guy from SoftBank? He's like, you can do another 100 billion. He wants it bigger, better, and made in America. Ripple is, I don't know. I don't know if they could be in a better position.
Yeah, I thought whenever the token first launched, they called it RLUSD. My first thought was like, wait, is that supposed to mean real USD? Are they trying to displace Circle and Tether a little bit by saying like, no, this is the real one?
Yeah, I mean, whatever they did, they didn't name it after XRP. They did. They're bearish their own token.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the CEO, I think it was the CEO, had mentioned, what did he say? I think he said, this is not an opportunity to get rich. Don't FOMO into our stable coin. He's very clear. I mean, which makes sense. Like, it's a stable coin. It's just US dollar. You can use it to trade on many of the top exchanges and whatnot, but it's not going to move. It's not going to do anything. And it was almost saying there was some read between the lines action there of like, look, this isn't, we're not expecting a lot to happen with this potentially, but it is a huge,
right. Yeah. He didn't want the crypto bros to think it was an XRP airdrop or whatever. Yeah. It's not a new version of XRP at $1. Unfortunately, he does have to explain that to people in crypto. He's still not bullish enough his own company and his own token. Like, really, the only guy that's full tilt bullish on the tape is Michael Saylor. Where is the Michael Saylor of fill in the blank? Ethereum, XRP, Solana. Like, where is it? Like, I only hear negative developments and I hear one guy talking. I mean, what happens when they start? Either the price turns up the volume, or they turn up the volume, or the orange man turns up the volume, or like the SAT, D, all of the above.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you think about crypto and the large influences and kind of like the size of someone like Saylor, there really isn't anyone, kind of, being the mascot at that type of capacity for, a lot of other projects. I can't even think of, anyone that comes to mind that is that size for even Solana and Ethereum. I think there definitely are, but just not at that same level. But yeah, who knows? I feel like after this cycle, you'll see it.
They should call me. They should call me. I'll help them out.
Yeah,
I should. Yeah, I could do it.
Yeah. you are doing it. You're doing it more than
I
they
know.
are.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm doing it. I'm doing it to a I don't know, to let's call it an intimate audience, right? It's like it's I've been on these TV news shows before, so call me.
Yeah, love it. So another topic that was really big today, something else that launched, is Pudgy Penguin. Everyone knows it as this giant NFT company. They have the Pudgy Penguins, which are the big ones. They're pretty expensive. They're like, I think last week they were around $80,000 to buy one of those images. And then they have the little Pudgies, which came in after. There's like, I think 22,000 of them. So they all have like limited images and they have traits. And those go for, I think, like 9,000 right now. And then you have these thing called rods, which are like multipliers that go for, I don't know, it's like $2,000. And those are all on Ethereum. And Pudgy Penguin actually just took out, I forget the name of them, but they were number 2 in NFTs for a long time, the Bases. And they took it out, and they're only second to CryptoPunks, as we were talking about last week. But today was huge because they had PENGU, which is their airdrop coin on Solana. So they chose Solana, probably obviously due to the fees and easy adoption from retail. You can hop on, talk about it with your friends, buy it on Moonshot, and it's just really easy to get your hands on it. And everything around it is, just cheaper gas and just naturally easier to use because you're in the casino now. So it was big, but what did it do? So it launched a little over 6 cents. I think it like drove up to there at launch. So it started above 2 billion market cap. It's gone down significantly. It's under 3 cents right now, but it's still like a $1.7 billion market cap for an airdrop that just came out today, which is absolutely wild. They had this marketing plan where they identified people that are old Sol wallets, people that own the different NFTs, and they would airdrop you coins. And, it's been huge for those people, but everyone, as it seems today, was going to the website, which, as anyone that had claims, it had problems all day. It took forever to claim. I had some airdrops, and I think it took 6 hours before I could actually have my claim go through. But everyone was dumping. It's like as soon as they hit that claim, they were hitting that sell button, and it was wild. So it went down pretty quick. I think day one for an airdrop, that's not crazy. That's not abnormal. Especially, I think in this market, we are seeing a lot of what they call people younger than me, but they call them cheaters. Basically people that they see. They'll just cheat to the next thing. So they see an airdrop, it hits their account. They're like, oh, boom, cool. This is $2,000, whatever it is. And they sell it. And then they move on, go back onto BullX and buy some meme coins. So again, it has, it's kind of been holding a floor around, 2-3 cents. So we don't know. Maybe overnight, maybe Asia comes in and buys it up and brings it back up. But, as of right now, I think you'd say, the launch probably wasn't what people hoped. The NFTs have dropped 50% today. So all the Pudgy Penguins, the little Pudgies, and the rods went down 50%. That's a pretty big hit. Granted, they've been kind of building up on the rumor event. And then obviously when the news dropped today, everything's been tanking, including the airdrop. What is your guys' take on this? I know, NFTs are, definitely a subject that, only not everyone in crypto participates in, but this meme coin essentially is, something that we're all familiar with.
I mean, I'm bullish long term on PENGU. I got the airdrop, and I didn't own any of the NFTs or anything, so mine was small in comparison with some of the people in our community. But I'm bullish long term, more for the brand than anything else. I think to to get such a substantial airdrop for what is virtually just a meme coin, that is a well-known brand across the world is pretty wild to me. Like, it seems like a no-brainer to just diamond hand this thing to forever because, I made no investment, and it's just despite all of these people selling to make a quick buck, like, $1,000 just popped up into my account. I'm just gonna profit that really quick. When I feel that's very short-sighted when, this brand is so massive. And if an NFT is worth $80,000, how long did it take for those NFTs to reach that price floor? It took a couple years. Um, and so it might take a month, it might take a day, it might take a couple years, but I feel like this brand even outside of crypto is so strong that this is one of those tokens that's worth holding. And like you said, Dan, it kicked off at like a $3 billion market cap, and it's down to half of that or maybe less at this point. But if it launched and it launched 12 hours ago and it's still above $1 billion, that's insane. That's crazy. So I don't know. It just feels like a no-brainer to hold this guy forever. Maybe it'll go to zero. It'll probably go to zero at some point, but I'm bullish on the penguin.
What about you, Bill? You hyped on the penguin?
Dude, first of all, if it just goes to zero, you just double up. That's that's easy, right? So you set up a DCA. I mean, you don't buy an airdrop $3 billion on the way out of the gate. Market makers, whoever, they're gonna liquidate to create liquidity, whatever. Okay, here's the deal. The NFT. Let's try it this way. Imagine once upon a time, Warren Buffett issued NFTs, and then when Berkshire Hathaway went public a million years ago, NFT holders got a huge allocation of the IPO'd stock. And then the stock went from $10 to $100,000 a share. Now, I know that's an extreme example, but I'm sure anybody who's got the NFTs or this token will either be able to buy exclusive items or will be included when this company eventually goes public. So you're telling me, $1 billion may be robust for a meme coin. However, I can't believe, Pudgy Penguins, after a year of building to sell toys in Walmart, just decided to do a random Jeet coin with no plan. They just said, let's do like the Hawk to a penguin coin. No, there has to be more behind this, right? So if you can't afford an NFT, they just let you in on the ecosystem. And the fact that they dropped the NFTs, okay, yeah, I'm sure that's an unpleasant correction for some people. But you got to hoover up the NFTs because didn't they just make it perfectly clear that they're going to pay you to own? Like, if you're in the ecosystem, you're going to get paid like a shareholder. So, just follow the big money, man. There's a plan here.
Follow the big money. Which,
man.
Side topic on that. I don't know if you guys saw that Biden proposed. I don't know if he proposed the bill, or I don't know the source of all of it. But there was a bill that came across Biden's desk where they were saying they were going to ban all stock investing by people who are sitting in Congress right now. Like, there's no way that goes anywhere, or unless it opens up, a strategy. Everybody opens up an LLC or something and starts funneling money investing through that. 'Cause it's not going to stop people from investing, but it is going to stop people being able to see what is being invested in. So that one project of that some guy built that just follows Nancy Pelosi's trades will no longer work. But
yeah, I mean, it's great to become an elected representative so you can open up a hedge fund. That's great. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has a better trading reputation than Cathie Wood from ARK Investments. Seriously, he's got a better track record. You know, the question with Nancy is Nancy making these decisions, or is Nancy giving asset managers access to information that she has? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so much for classified information. I mean, at Wall Street, you can't become a bartender. It's called an outside business activity. If you work at Wall Street, you cannot become a bartender without the approval of the compliance department. And anything that even smells like, you know, insider knowledge, you immediately have to like walk away from it, not touch it. It's amazing that those rules don't apply in Congress. And the thing that's funny is if they did, they would probably all go start trading crypto, which would be funny.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, if you've seen the company Igloo, you've seen their website, you've seen the Pudgy Penguin website, you've seen their merch, you see things like the Pusheen, which looks just like a Pudgy Penguin. And like their gifts are great, their socials are great, everything is great. Like, I agree with you guys. Like, they're not just going to get Binance on board, get all these giant exchanges. You know how hard it is to convince these exchanges to like list you? I mean, obviously not some of the tier 3s and tier 2s, but they got a giant grip of tier 1 exchanges. I mean, I'm like, yeah, they're going to look for trading fees and they love that, but I think there's a bigger picture here. I personally, NFA, like, not financial advice, I'm going to hold mine. And I bought little Pudgies just so that I could get more, just so that I could accumulate and have this PENGU and just hold it until I feel like the time is right. Like, I think this is so early with a company that does more and can touch like youth retail consumers or even like high schoolers with merch. And then you said a word, Bill, last week on the podcast. It was like digimerch. I forget, what was the word?
Phygital, physical and digital.
Yeah, phygital. I was literally inversing it, but phygital. And then like, I can't think of another company in crypto that has an ability to touch retail and like kids and get their parents to convince them to like be involved in something like this. And there's just so much momentum. And one thing I also noticed is the market cap for this coin is already higher than the combination of little Pudgies and Pudgy Penguins. They're, I think they're around like 700 million market cap. Granted, they just dipped today, so they were over $1 billion. But it's just wild to kind of see that. And like, I agree with you guys. Like, this is a put it in your cold storage and, you know, wait for the right time to utilize it. And maybe give it to your nephews and nieces at Christmas if you really like them. But I think I don't think you judge the future of PENGU because of, you know, first day. I think it's more a psychological Jeter perspective of that price dropping and just the way that we've kind of seen in this cycle that it's been a lot more popular for people to just rotate quickly through things and not really build kind of like long-term conviction, especially in the Solana world. And I think you kind of saw that, but people are going to eat this up, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to see it below 3 cents or even 5 cents for too long. But again, that's just my own speculation on what I think. And, you know, I agree with you guys. They can market the heck out of this. And, you know, PENGU is the one thing that's tied to it that you could buy on a iPhone app.
Right. I mean, you nailed it too. The most important thing that these meme coins can do is spend marketing dollars. Literally buying the mind share of the people. That's what separates the good meme coins from the bad meme coins, is your ability to market to the people. So imagine if like Ponky or Schemax Dog had the marketing budget that Igloo and the Pudgy Penguins team does. If they know how to do anything, it's market. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to market this brand. And dang, now I'm feeling like I need to buy my niece and nephew, just load some PENGU up on a wallet for them and give it to them for Christmas.
I mean,
they're 4 years old.
It goes back to the equation we did earlier. Like, 1.7 billion. Dude, fart plus goat is close to 1.7 billion. what are we? What? What are we talking about?
No
Like,
utility. It's just a Twitter account.
yeah, that's all fine.
Yeah.
That's more power to you. But if that's worth 1.4, PENGU is too cheap, and so is virtual, and on and on and on. Silver miners, all of it, right? The speculative stuff pushes other things. And, this is you get this for your kids because this is a ticket to the IPO. It's a ticket to the IPO. And you maybe get some plushy toys along the way, whatever.
Yeah.
It's PENGU money. It's XR Penguin. XR Penguin, right? It's undervalued hypervelocity money. There's XR Pepe, but this is XR Pepe. I'm sorry, XR Pengu for real. It's high velocity money. Wait do you see the fights in Walmart? We talked about this before the show. Wait do you see the video in Walmart over the plush toys?
Yeah, with only one left. Yeah, there's definitely going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole different demographic fighting at Walmart. Like
I can't wait to see
DoorDash.
it.
Yeah,
there's going to be memes about these fights.
Oh, there are. It's going to be DoorDash people going at it, crypto bros. Not to mention your standard Walmart customer.
Yeah, Walmart Fight Coin is coming out.
Dan, do you know off the top of your head how much of the PENGU airdrop? How much did they have set aside for that airdrop? Do you know?
It was a very large community airdrop. I think it was over like 40%. I'll look it up and I'll kind of chime in. Or maybe you could look it up while I'm talking because they put out the tokenization on their Twitter page. So go take a look at that while I talk.
Oh yeah.
And the one thing that I kind of want to mention, I kind of saved this for the end so that we could kind of talk about it and let you know our opinion is, and Bill hit it, and Kaileb too. They're not going to do this. A company this big, they're not going to put all this time just to have it dumped because you got to think about it. It's also tied to their brand, who they are. There's got to be a purpose. So what's coming out in January maybe, is there an L2 roll-up on Ethereum called Abstract by Igloo Company, which is the same exact company that just put out PENGU. And that's a ZK roll-up, layer 2 blockchain on Ethereum, and their whole product around it is for consumer applications. So they could create an NFT marketplace. They could create social, they could do DSO apps. Just think of like them being able to create a connection between NFTs, their kind of meme coin, and having like a social application where, kids can open this app, have this profile. And if you look at the microtransactions and things like Fortnite today, where you buy V-Bucks, maybe PENGU is their V-Bucks. Maybe that's what Abstract is they're creating this economy where you can use things like PENGU in the certain applications that are built on this L2 rollup. So I think sometimes you got to zoom out and look at things and really look at the companies, like you guys said, and like, they're not going to do this for no reason. Look at some roadmaps. What else is Igloo doing? How are other things like Eden and all these other things being very successful with their platforms? And could someone like Igloo do the same thing with all of their touch? They already have this indirect and direct marketing. So for me, I look at Pudgy Penguin and PENGU, and I'm waiting for Abstract. I'm not going to touch or sell my PENGU merely because I want to see what type of hype is created around this Abstract project that they're going to push out in January.
You want to have something in common with Pudgy Penguins? Lock in. These guys that issued this coin, they are locked in. They are like, yeah, Web3, let's go. You think 1 billion is expensive? Good. We'll see you at 1 trillion.
Yep.
Seriously. Like, these guys are locked in. This goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? All these characters are locked in, and everybody is cheating, going on vacation, and talking about the end of the cycle. Like, if I had hair, I'd pull it out.
Yep. Good point. I mean, there's going to be, in my eyes, there's going to be people that are going to look back at this retrospectively and think that they were making a really good decision with this whole G hype that's been going on in a lot of the Solana projects, and just seeing as them an airdrop profit opportunities. and, not kind of thinking about like, okay, this could turn into something. Look at memes that have zero utility, or a merch store, or an NFT tie. You got SHIB, Doge. You have all these big things that like are gigantic Brett on base, like the top meme there. I think it's like a 1.7 billion market cap. I forget what exactly it is, but I think that's what it is. And they don't have what PENGU has. They don't have what Igloo is building. And, they can actually use this to do something. But even if they're not doing something specifically with PENGU, it's just the association and the brand behind it. When you look at PENGU, it actually has an association to a company that's doing things. But we're still hyping up and building up all these, legacy, meme coins that have been around for multiple cycles. Who says what could PENGU be a cycle from now or 2 cycles from now? And you look at 3 cents and you're like, oh my gosh, that was actually at 3 cents. And it probably shock you. So again,
it was at 3 cents and nobody wanted it.
Yeah, like, nobody wanted it.
Nobody wanted it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm done. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. This is almost like, it's like I'm back in 2020 and like the chain links, the XRPs, the crypto punks, all the stuff from the prior cycle that was kind of left for dead, that everybody just forgot about, all of a sudden came back. It feels like we're doing that intra cycle. Something comes out and they just throw it away. Then they come back in 6 months when this is like a real bull market that's sustainable. Like, remember how Kaileb was talking about the stair step? When the market is a stair step, everyone's going to go, wow, remember that stuff we just threw away in November? Dude, it's like, it's literally happening in front of your face. And it's almost becoming stand-up comedy. Like, Michael Saylor is trying to be all serious on MSNBC or CNBC. I don't think he's getting anywhere. It's literally, it's almost funny how people are just, we should be the most bullish of all. And we're not. Like, not only did they sell it, but no one wants to buy it. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. No interest. I'm like, okay, we'll see you guys in a year. We'll see you.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like people like look at crypto Twitter and see all the people that are really popular now because they got rich on holding things. And so, I feel like people in each cycle have to think about, how can I be that person? And usually it's been killed by the current generation of crypto of Jeters, and like they don't really build diamond hand conviction around things that they think could go into the future. And I think the things that are giant today and in the billions, multi-billions and gigantic, they didn't have what they have now. So, but again, crypto is a lot more diluted. There's a lot more options, a lot more memes. There's no guarantee, but sometimes you got to look at a project and see what else they have in their roadmap and be like, hey, maybe this is one of those potential opportunities. Again, NFA, if you need the money, you have the airdrop, you got to do what you got to do for your own financial decisions.
Right. And then there's a final point about this, that even if it doesn't wind up being PENGU, like if you think the other NFT projects cannot just sit around anymore. Like if you're working at Azuki, someone's looking at you going, where's your where's the streetwear? Where's my meme coin? You know what I'm saying? Like, hello. So these guys, they're doing all the things we said, but even if they're not, they're also putting pressure on all of their competition because, now they got to do something. They're pushing it.
So it's a little bit airdrop related, but we're going to shift to the next topic, which is Hyperliquid. Obviously it had probably the biggest airdrop that's ever been seen. I forget what it is, but it was gigantic. Yeah.
And
so insane.
Just for perspective, that Pudgy airdrop was $1.5 billion worth of tokens that were airdropped to the community. Hyperliquid, on their launch, airdropped $7 billion. Biggest airdrop in history, second to Uniswap last cycle, which was about $6.3 billion.
Yeah. I think I saw something where if you traded like $5,000 on their perp exchange, like 6 months ago, you would get like $750,000 in the airdrop because of your activity. It's just insane to
On
think about
Hyperliquid?
that. Yeah, Hyperliquid.
Wild.
Because their airdrop is based off of building up and volume, and it's just part of it. I know that there's other ways that you could get the airdrop, but it's really just using Hyperliquid, using the exchange and logging in, depositing money, transacting, and doing trades and building up their exchange. That's why they have a gigantic exchange. Their platform TVL is $2.6 billion. It's surged by 1,000%. Pretty much since the airdrop. It's the top decentralized perpetual trading platform with this like crazy volume. Their token went up 700% in 30 days after it's dropped. So with you see the PENGU drop today, but like hype, it did have, dips within its growth, but it still went up 700% in 30 days.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And that was just last month.
Wild. And just for those of you that don't know, Hyperliquid is it is an exchange that was launched, but what sets it apart from other exchanges is Hyperliquid is built on more of an order book platform, which means that, with a lot of decentralized exchanges, you don't have somebody willing to match you price to price for whatever asset you're trading, and that results in slippage, which means in a super volatile market, while you are trying to sell, $1,000 worth of your token with slippage, you're actually only going to get $998 or something like that due to slippage, which in a highly volatile market, that can be something insanely high, and you would overpay or even underpay in some scenarios on that token. Like, for example, with the Pudgy, in that massive, whenever it first launched, people were trying to buy PENGU, and I saw something like one guy paid like $8,000 for a token, and then it quickly dropped. That 10,000 became $5 in a matter of seconds because of that slippage, right? So what Hyperliquid is doing is they have this order book based platform which will match buyers at the price you are at without any slippage in place. So they're looking to be a very secure and stable platform where you're not going to lose money in highly volatile trading days.
Yeah. It's what they're doing is great. It's huge. I think you're going to see more of it. I think you think airdrops, like you don't necessarily think like a perp exchange like that. But it was crazy. I feel like, or I know that you really can't sleep on situations like this where there's future airdrop potential. So if you see something that's piloting out there or trying to break ground, it's like, okay, well, what are their intentions? How are they going to build marketing? Are they growing? Am I seeing trading volume? Is there adoption? And then it's like, I should probably get in here and get my hands in some of the volume activities so that I get marked for this airdrop. And I think sometimes you can't ignore it. This is literally maybe the second airdrop I've gotten, the PENGU one. So I've always slept on airdrops. I've never done anything to research. What do I have to download? What do I have to deposit and do trading activity on? So I think between Hyperliquid and things that I've seen this cycle, I've definitely created a lot more visibility in my mind to go back to and look at the airdrop scenarios that are going on and seeing like, is this something I could get involved in so that I don't have this feeling of regret when I'm seeing people getting paid crazy amount of money for not really doing that much, like logging on a Hyper. Like, if you talk to any of these people that made a ton of money in Hyper, they didn't really do that much. They joined in with a link, they deposited crypto, and they made some trades, and they made 100,000 plus. It's just nuts. And one thing I want to mention, I didn't mention it when we were talking about PENGU, is kind of going back to having a community that will help you like make these decisions and kind of see opportunities. We started talking about PENGU and Pudgy Penguins earlier this month, probably the end of November. Before the Pudgy Penguins, the rods and the little Pudgies pumped up in price. There were people that were buying Pudgies, and they made 10,000 over the past few weeks while it was building up on this PENGU rumor. And then obviously they dipped today, but you were able to kind of capitalize on the opportunity. And Brian Young also has connections everywhere, and he knows Luca and people from the Pudgy Penguin team. he was able to, kind of build in, because part of their tokenomics is, marketing and providing airdrops to communities and to influencers to, kind of, be part of the movement. And Brian got offered to, get a certain token count, and he worked with them and said, hey, if I get all the SOL addresses from people in my community, could you airdrop it to them? And they agreed. And we worked with a form with all of our members. We collected SOL addresses, and we had it was really quick. So we talked to the Pudgy team, and we didn't have very much time. So we did whatever we could to collect as many addresses as possible. I think we got a couple thousand, and we sent it to the Pudgy team. And this morning, every single person that submitted a correct SOL address got 22,888 PENGUs. So, that's something that I think is advantageous, being a part of community is, one, you get alpha. Two, you can get, random airdrop opportunities. I don't think you pay for Kaizen to get these airdrops. I think this is just something that just happened because you're a part of it. And it's just an opportunity that Brian found. But it's also the education of thinking around, what do I do with this airdrop? What is the potential opportunity down the road? Should I hold it? Should I diamond hand? Should I sell it? And, having a community will make you, think about the possible options, so that instead of just seeing a couple $1,000s get airdropped into your wallet, and you're just like, well, I'm going to sell this. This is just free money, essentially, with ignoring the opportunity and looking at other successful airdrops, looking at Igloo, looking at Abstract, you may miss out on, making a possible decision that can extremely provide value and, do something great for you. So that's just something I wanted to plug in there, and I forgot to do earlier. My bad.
All right, people are sick of hearing about Pudgy now, I bet.
Yeah. Especially all the people that dumped today. They're like, well, if you give me more, I'll probably keep dumping that. And I'll be buying it off of OKC or something. So this one will be really quick. We just like to give you kind of updated news. There's 3 big unlocks coming up. You got Arbitrum, you have WorldCoin, and you have Solana. They're having larger unlocks coming. The Arbitrum one is about a little under 100 million worth of tokens. It's its largest single unlock event, so of course, just things to watch out for. Maybe it's, there's going to be dilution and a dip, and I could, build more of my Arbitrum as it, kind of dips because of it. Typically these things could get eaten up right away, kind of like Solana. They haven't really rallied too much recently. So if you look at, a couple 100 million tokens being released, creating a little bit of dilution in the circulating volume causes this inherent short-term, probably a little pop down that, typically, there is buyers hungry, and Solana hasn't really had a recent rally. So I have a feeling this could be a catalyst to eat that up. So again, that's just, something that we want to, let you know about unlocks coming. I think in this situation, I think these could definitely be bullish unlocks.
Yeah, I mean, if there's token supply that people can get, I don't know how this works. So you could transfer from the venture capitalists directly to Galaxy Digital or Galaxy Digital's customers. The stuff never has to hit an exchange. It could just move from one wallet to the other quietly. So if you were looking to buy a truckload of Solana, you don't have to show up in a Arkham tweet. You just call up whoever's selling and be like, hey, what do you got?
Yep.
What do you got? So, yeah, a lot of times when something unlocks, it doesn't rally for a while. And the same thing happened with Ondo, and then people got over themselves and it just went straight up. Trade the market. If something goes up 300% and then there's an unlock, okay, yeah, you have to pay attention. But trade the market. You know what I mean?
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, one more topic. I think this one's a little bit of a just random news thing involving crypto, but also something where we could kind of heed warning to, those out there, and just a reminder about security. So in Scottsdale, Arizona, ironically, where I live, there was a scammer. I don't know how he figured out that they owned crypto or had Coinbase or whatever. But he found out somehow, and he posed as their Uber driver as they were leaving some sort of event. And he claimed that his phone wasn't working and he needed to pull up the map to get to where they wanted to go. And since he had their phone unlocked, he logged into their he opened their Coinbase and they didn't have anything to keep him from transferring it. He transferred $300,000 of crypto to his own account or whatever. They ended up catching him. He's actually going to court tomorrow, I think, is his next hearing. But it's just a reminder, we're in a bull run. People are making a lot of money. They know that retail is kind of adopting it more, so it's easier to like gauge that they probably have applications on their phone where you can transfer out of, whether it's Phantom, MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, Coinbase, whatever it is. Like there's apps on their phone, and once you get someone's phone that's unlocked, it's really easy. And even if they have 2FA, I was talking to Bill earlier and he reminded me, I was like, oh, well, you could have 2FA. And he's like, well, they already have your phone. They could just open your LastPass or your Nord authorization, your Google authorization, and just take that code and put it right in the app, and it'll let it go through. So it's definitely something to be conscious of, and make sure you're just thinking about what you're doing. And your phone unlocks a lot of things that you own, your security, your information. But when it comes to crypto, it's your coins, and you have to be protective and just think about the things you're doing. I just wanted to cover that. I thought it was a random article that was sent to me, but it's something you sometimes don't think about. Like you put your phone down at the gym or at the Starbucks, and these people know what they're doing. They'll find a way to unlock it and transfer everything before you have anything that you can do.
Yeah, don't hold all your crypto in one place. If you opened up Coinbase and opened up Kraken and Gemini, you know what I'm saying, and go through the aggravation to connect the bank accounts, because, you can't take anything for granted. The ability to buy and sell, security, a quantum computer isn't going to destroy Bitcoin tomorrow, but some nefarious actor, you just don't know what can happen out there to any one device or any one wallet or any one company.
Yeah. Or at least have a tangent. If you're not like using that to like trade and you're not looking to get out right away, throw it on a tangent. Throw it on a ledger. Like they're gonna have that to authorize that transaction. So if they have your phone, like there's a tangent app and there's a ledger app, and you can like initiate something, but you need to confirm it with that hardware. Or Tangent's not really hardware, but I guess in a way it kind of is. But those are certain ways to protect you. If I buy something and I know that I'm not looking to sell it soon and it's something that I'm going to hold, I'll just transfer it to my cold storage. And it's actually not that difficult to get it out of cold storage or swap it while it's in cold storage. Tangent has Wallet Connect and it has all these things. So just be conscious of it. Understand if you're really big in putting a lot of you're taking your retirement, you're taking your savings account, you're putting in crypto, like we want to see you be successful. We want you to hold on and preserve that capital. But that means that you need to take the initiative and just make sure that you're thinking of these things and spending the little bit of money to, be safer with, your investment. I'm not going to plug you guys like an affiliate for my Ledger account. I just, this is more of a security warning. I probably should though, and I'm thinking about it now. Maybe I'll put it in the description. Just kidding. We do have affiliates at Kaizen though for both of those, but this is just a general thought. It's smart. Do it. I never did it in previous cycles. The last cycle I got a Ledger, and then this cycle I also got a Tangent just so I could have it in my wallet. It's a little bit easier than holding the USB drive. Plus it comes in a pack of 3, so I can keep them in my safe. Give them to someone I love and trust and has a safe. And it's smart, and just do it. That's it. I didn't really have any other topics. Did you guys have anything that we didn't cover or circle back to anything?
Oh, I'm sure there's a whole slew of things we could keep talking about, but we got to save some content for next time.
Yeah. We'll talk about our holiday schedule. We got Christmas coming up next week and the New Year's after that. We usually record on Tuesdays, so we'll do what we can to get something out there. I'll talk to Bill and Kaileb and make sure that we get something recorded. But thanks for taking your time and joining us on this journey in crypto. We hope that we can help you out, provide you with some alpha. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends, post it on X. We appreciate any sort of visibility that you'll give to, our time and, what we're putting out here to help a safer, more informative, and just educated, crypto journey for yourself. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. See you next time, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.